Pitching Ninja. Pitching Ninja. Pitching Ninja. Pitching Ninja. We got sliders and fastballs and curveballs too. When you step in the box, man, you're gonna be through. It's a Pitching Ninja.
Hey everybody, I am here with the legend, the king of JUCO, Eric Sim. What's up, my man?
What's going on, my man? Thanks for having me. You're the legend, man, so thanks for having me on.
No, you're the legend. We're wearing the same freaking shirt too. How cool is that?
Fucking go, JUCO Bandits, baby.
So let's get started with, how did this whole JUCO Bandit thing get started? I mean, I totally agree with the message, but let's go to the history of it and take it from there.
Yeah, so I obviously went to JUCO myself, and then I moved on and played, Division I and got pro ball and all that stuff done. And when I was doing that, I just felt like going to JUCO was very underrated. It still is to this day, and a lot of people talk down up on it a little bit, right? And I thought there was no need to, because for me, I developed as a person I am now, and the baseball player I was at the time, by going to JUCO, and it was a huge turnaround for me as my career really took off, right? So I went from I'm a Korean Canadian. I don't know how many people know me, but yeah, I was born in South Korea, moved to Canada when I was 13, and I grew up playing small town Canada, right? Baseball. So there's not a whole lot of college scouting or anything like that going on here. And this was way back in the day too, right? So when things were very limited. And I got one offer, man, out of high school, and the only offer I got was Kobe Community College, which is a JUCO I went to in Kansas. And even me at the time, everyone talks about, oh, you want to go D1, like everyone wanted to go to like big time schools, but I mean, like, why, and I went to JUCO. It really, like, I'm not saying that I went there. I mean, I went there because that was my only choice, but at the same time, like, it really changed to like who I was, and sometimes that's exactly like what you need when you're 18, and you've kind of had your parents kind of do everything for you or whatever. You go there on your own, man. When you go to JUCO, like out of nowhere in fucking Kansas, right? I mean, you gotta survive, and so you gotta find ways.
How did you deal with going from Canada, Korea to Kansas? I mean, that's amazing.
It was, yeah. I mean, again, like I have a really unique story to tell now, just because of that reason. And I've had different paths, right? Like I played baseball in South Korea. I think I've told you some of what I was going through in Korea. It was fucking crazy. Like, I mean, we used to practice like, dude, 8-10 hours a day. And I was 10, 11 years old, and we used to get beat up and all that shit. Like, it was a cultural difference though, right? Over there, like, coaches are like gods. Like, you can't really fuck with them. Like, they do whatever they want with you. And I was doing that. And I went from that to Canada, small town Canada, where practice was like an hour long. It was like coaches would give me high fives. And so I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, what is going on? Is this what baseball's supposed to be played? Like, it's unbelievable. It was a crazy experience for me at the time. And after that, going to JUCO was obviously another cultural change, right? Because I went from, everyone's very happy, like, well, of course that you're competing against like high school kids or whatever, but it's not. And you go to a JUCO, you're like, hey, you fucking perform or you're going home, basically. You know what I'm saying? Or you're gonna get your scholarship taken away or whatever. So that really was a change of culture, really, to me. And again, to me, I really needed that. I really needed that when I was 18, and I thrived up on that. So.
I think that's awesome. So I think part of what I'm seeing, like you're on Twitter, what brought everything out of you is, so in Korea, you're taught, obey the coaches, they're gods. And then you're like, they're not freaking gods. They're teaching, this crap. And then in JUCO, you got to fend for yourself.
Right.
And part of what you're doing now is kind of debunking all that. You're empowering players, to me, to question things. Like, baseball players aren't gods. They're just people that maybe some figured it out, some didn't, right?
Exactly. And again, like, everyone's different, right? That's a thing. Like, every experience is different. Like, your experience and my experience will be different, right? So we gotta respect that, instead of being, oh, my way, the highway, or I know everything, do it my way. It's because you can be the best coach in the fucking world, and you can tell the same shit that you teach to 100 players, not 100 of them are gonna do well. Like, that's just how it works with not just baseball, with anything, right? So that's why these lots of programs and stuff like that, they cater, like a lot of these like good programs, they cater to the players, not have a, hey, do it our way, you know, everything, this is how you do it. If you don't like it, you know, like you maybe you're not good enough. No, it's not the case. Everything's different, you know, so that's the way it should be. And that's something I learned along the ways.
Well, I think that's what's changing now, and for the better, is you're empowering players. That's literally why I started getting on Twitter to begin with,
Sure.
was to allow coaches to allow players to question their coaches. Give them ammunition. If you see a player doing something different than your coach is teaching you, ask a question. Coaches aren't gods. Like, you know, we have to break down that barrier, and coaches need to like listen to players because they're not always right. And
100%.
you may learn differently. You've learned under 3 different cultures, which is kind of amazing. I mean, those are really, really different. And what resonated with you was the JUCO way of life, it sounds like. So, I mean, somebody else may have done really well with the regimented Korean structure. Who knows?
Of course. Right. And again, that's a thing. That's a beauty of this, right? Is everyone's different. You're gonna go through different fucking experiences. That's the whole point of it. You know, not all of you gonna go fucking straight from high school to get drafted first round. It's just not how it works, right? So everyone's gonna have their own past, and that's something that you need to cherish. And for me, I learned a lot. Even like, I wasn't a first round pick or nothing like that, but like I learned a lot along my journey, right? And those are some things I want to share. And going to a JUCO or whatever I do, you know, the things I preach, like working brutally hard and just putting in the work, stop talking about it or whatever, you know, like I learned those things from going through these, you know, like not so great, you know, atmospheres and experiences I've had. Like, and I learned those things because you need to take care of yourself, man. No one's gonna do it for you. And no, at the end of the day, when you go on the field, it's on you. You know, your coaches, your parents, they're not gonna fucking play for you. You're fucking playing for yourself. So at the end of the day, you need to be confident with what you got, and you need to build that shit. So,
well, let's start with, so were you a stud in Korea? Like, say you're playing baseball in Korea, there were a lot of other really good players.
I was probably like, I wasn't shitty. You know, if I was shitty, my parents would probably like, yeah, you're not playing baseball, you know, but like I was okay, but nothing like you know, I was one of the top or anything like that. And that's the thing about culture in Korea. It was when you play baseball, you don't go to school, you know, so you literally don't go to school. You go like, and I'm 10 or 11 or 12. I'm not going to school. So I'm not going to school. That means I'm a dumbass, right? I'm not learning anything. So I'm literally playing baseball all day. And now when I'm 13, like, it's too late. It's too late to go back to school, because school over there in Korea and a lot of these Asian countries, it's insane. They do a lot of like tutors and like a lot of extracurriculum activities. And I did none of that because I just played baseball. So in those countries, when you play baseball or any sport, you either fucking make it in that sport or you're fucking done. You know, you just basically take over a family job or whatever.
I literally did not know that. So you don't you're a baseball player first in Korea when you're good, and that's all you're doing. And maybe you get a tutor to teach you some stuff, or, I mean, you don't have classmates or anything like that, just teammates.
No. So over there, like, talking about like specializing early, they fucking specialize early, you know, and they give you no other choice. That's the only shitty thing about that. Like, my mom hated it because I was getting zero education. And I was playing baseball, and I didn't even like it that much because I was getting beat up and, you know, all that shit. You know, practices are gruesome, man. I'm talking like, man, when you practice 8 hours a day, you're a 10. You're not gonna like baseball. You're gonna hate baseball. Like, that's where we're all like that, right? Like, we're only playing because, you know, to fulfill our parents or coaches or whatever, you know. But that was a culture that I grew up in. Right. And so it was a very tough adjustment going from that to fucking Canada. It was like, whoa, you know, like, and it was tough for me because obviously I didn't speak any English because I didn't go to school or nothing. I didn't learn anything. So I went straight from Korea to Canada. I was like, no English. Like, it's like, just fucking start everything basically from scratch. Right. So I've been through a lot, man. Fuck, I learned a lot along the way.
Well, that's awesome. But so like in Canada, when did you realize you were like better than folks at playing, or did you have to work the entire way to even be equal with people, and then you eventually got better? How'd that work for you?
In the beginning, I was better than others because I had everything that I practiced in Korea. So I was ahead of everyone at the same age as me in Canada when I was 13 or 14. But it kind of catches up because like I don't know, like, I was bigger and stronger when I was younger, but like slow. I mean, you know, the people in Canada, they're gonna catch up. You know, they're gonna get bigger and stronger than myself, to be honest, right? A lot of more. So like, things got caught up, but I was still good. You know, I wasn't bad. Like I was second team all conference and stuff like that. I got these little awards and stuff like that too, but nothing like I was like, oh my goodness, like you're a team. Like whenever someone's good in Canada, you make Team Canada for baseball. That's like hey, you're good, you know. But I never made any of that shit. I never made, you know, team, you know, BC or any state teams or anything like that, province team that we have here. And yeah, so I've never been like a stud or anything like that, but I was good. I was always pretty good, but like nothing like special.
Do you think that helps you relate to people though? Because to me, sometimes if you were always good, the game comes
It's
so
tough.
easy to you. Yeah. So
Right.
if you had to work for everything you got, it's a little different.
Right. I've heard a lot of this as well as when I was playing pro ball, and I had a lot of coaches in pro ball and that were Hall of Famers, man. I got, you know, like these guys are like unbelievable as players, but if you don't know how to communicating is like the biggest piece I see is communicating. Doesn't like, of course, what you know matters and how you apply it matters 100%. But if you're a shit communicator, like you're not gonna get to any of these guys, you know. Like, so for me, I've seen a lot of that. I've seen a lot of great players that weren't able to communicate with the players, you know, like because you're right, like they're so good or whatever, they can't figure out why you can't do this, you know, like just do this, like it's not that hard. But like for us, I'm like, dude, like I'm trying, you know, like
Right.
I'm doing what I can to do what you're saying, but I can't get it, you know. And those are some things I saw even at the highest level, like pro ball, right? So I think that definitely happens more often than not.
So what is the best way for you? How do you respond the best? Is it just somebody saying, hey, you got to figure it out, you do it? Is it seeing it? What kind of learner are you? Like, how did you figure this stuff out?
I like figuring things out on my own. I like spending time on my own, extra time on my own. So if I'm trying to figure out, let's say a pitch or whatever, right? And I would really want to get that. I'm not going to learn that from throwing a bullpen in front of a coach for 30 minutes. I'm not going to learn anything. Like I'm going to, of course, like he's going to give me cues and stuff like that I can work on. That's great. But I need to work on that when I'm playing catch, when I'm throwing long toss, even if I think we're going to change it, I'll throw that shit long toss. I don't give a shit because I want to get the feel of everything. I'm going to break that shit down. If we have Edgertronic or any cameras, I'll set it up to see how the ball's coming out of me. That's how I would attack it, right? So for me, it's a lot to do with spending a lot of time on it. And of course, you can work smarter, not harder. And I get that, you know, and that's why coaches are there. You know, coaches exist for that reason. But at the same time, if you can't figure it out on yourself, then what the fuck are we doing? At the end of the day, like I said before, coach is not going to throw for you. All the other people are not going to throw for you. It's on you. So
that's actually what I see a lot of is there's some kids that are so deferential to their coaches that they're almost expecting the coaches to spoon feed it to them and they don't own it. So to me, if you're a pitcher, you're a hitter, whatever it is, owning it is when you really get good. The deep learning type of thing versus just doing what the coach tells you to do. Yeah, you're going to be a brown nose. You're going to get little pats on the head. You may even get playing time, but you're not going to be better than your peers until you actually own your career.
100%, man. Like those are I get a lot of DMs like that. I'm sure you get a lot of those fucking DMs too, but they're like, oh, you know, give me your program. Let's say, hey, like, give me your throwing program. Cause they see me throwing, you know, 95 now from whatever I was throwing, 85 or whatever. I'm like, well, no, because that's not how it works. Like, and first of all, what I do and what you should be doing is completely different, you know. And second, you need to find out what works for you, and you need to own up to that. You need to spend time on yourself to get there. Does that make sense? Like, you can't just be like, oh, give me your like, I'm not gonna go to Trevor Bauer, like, hey, give me all your throwing program. No, like that's not how it works. Like he's built whatever that works for him for himself. He's built that in time by working on it consistent basis for long periods of time. And a lot of these kids or parents, I've seen a lot of those too, and they just want something so quick, man. It's like, hey, I'm trying to throw 90 by fucking December. I'm like, dude, no, fuck off. Like, I'm not gonna, no, you know, I don't have time to talk to you right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's pathetic.
I totally, so to me, that is probably the biggest flaw in training is everybody wants to get good quickly. They don't understand what the work you need to put in is. And that's why your story is interesting to me is you've been through a lot of different things and had to work for it. where a lot of kids, and I think this is where the JUCO bandit attitude comes in, is it's almost like against being handed something. You got to earn everything. You got to work for it. You got to freaking, I mean, you're not getting this fancy meal plan. You're having to earn everything you get, earn playing time against freaking awesome players. But nobody's giving you these big cushy bus rides and full scholarships and fancy meals and stuff. And for some part, that makes you a better player in person, because you when you earn something, you feel like you did something.
Yeah, and then the big thing is like to get to earning it, all the steps you take to earn it, right? Those are the steps that matter to make you grow as a player and a person. Like for me, like, you know, I share all my progress and everything that I do. I basically share everything that I do, whether it's throwing, eating, lifting, or whatever. And I work fucking hard, you know, and I'm not trying to play pro ball. I'm not trying to play baseball. I'm not trying to fucking dominate men's league or none of that shit like that. I'm doing this purely for my enjoyment. Now, even because it's for fun, I'm still not taking it fucking serious, because to me, like, taking shit serious is more fun than if I'm just fucking around. Like, I'm gonna have way more fun if I take this really serious, whatever it is. I don't give a shit what it is. Right now, I'm sharing all these things I'm doing, you know, for a reason, because I want to show you how much work it takes to get there. And even if you put in all that much work, it doesn't guarantee you success. You've seen all me going through plateaus and all the dark times, right? But I went through that like a fucking man. You know, I didn't fucking bitch and quit or moan or nothing. I just kept on doing. I kept on working. I didn't miss any fucking lifts. I didn't miss any meals. I didn't miss any fucking sleep. I didn't miss any throwing days. You know, that's what it takes. You know, and a lot of kids, you're right, they just want these quick, simple, you know. I get it. I get why they're coming from, because they see all these, you know, like whatever YouTube videos. Oh, 3 simple drills to swing faster, or 5 simple steps to throw harder. It doesn't work like that, man. It really doesn't. It's everything. It's everything on a consistent basis for a long period of time, and it's fucking hard work. So,
dude, I will tell you, the question I get the most is somebody send me their video saying, hey, look at my mechanics. What can I fix to gain 5 miles an hour? I'm like, yeah. There is like nothing that you're going to be able to do. I've coached a lot of kids, and right. The idea of fixing one thing and then all of a sudden gaining 5 miles an hour is just like, it's just fake. That doesn't happen.
It's just, again, but that's the thing. Like a lot of like social media, you know, they're feeding a lot of this.
Well, people are selling something too, right? I mean, you're trying to sell something. You're like, I have the secret to throwing hard. Well, the secret to throwing hard is working your freaking ass off.
Exactly. Now, that's a part like a lot of people don't really, you know, emphasize, because, you know, again, it's harder to sell that way. You know, well, fuck, everyone knows how to work hard, you know, but they just can't do it, you know, like, so it's easy to say, oh, this guy went from, you know, this to 75 to 90 in fucking 2 months, 3 months, or whatever. And that's fine. It might have worked for them. Great. You know, but I really don't have one thing that you can do right now to gain 5 miles an hour. I just don't have anything. I don't have anything other than you put in fucking work for 6, 7, 8 months, maybe a year, maybe 2 years, depending on how quickly your body can adapt, you know, like, so everyone's different. And again, there are no quick answers to this shit, man. If it was, and I'll be, to be honest, if there was any quick way, I'd be throwing fucking 110 right now, because I work way harder than all these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Like, so.
Exactly. Yeah. So why is it that you're doing the thing that I think people don't get is, look, you've given money to minor leaguers. You've raised all this money. You're teaching kids the value of hard work. You've elevated JUCO. Why is this in you to do that? Why do you feel like you have to do that versus most people that are out of baseball? They're just sitting back and saying, back in my day, I used to do this shit, and you know, you're on your own. Why do you want to teach? Why you want to do this?
Well, first of all, I want to help minor leaguers because I've been there. I've been through that, and I was a 27th round pick. I didn't sign for shit. Like, I had no money. And when I got done playing, man, after 6 years, I had $500 left in my bank account, and that was tough. You know, I was 27. You know, and even though I wanted to continue playing, like if I could get like another indie ball gig, or because after I got released and stuff like that, if I could get more indie ball or try to get an affiliate, I just couldn't afford it. You know, I hated the position I was in after I was done, and during it too, because when you're playing professional baseball, you know, you fucking, you know, you're working on the off season for 5-6 hours, and then you're trying to get your lift in, throwing in, you know, hitting in or whatever. Like it's tough, right? And I've been through it. I'm not saying that's not. I learned a lot from it, and I you know, with all the shit I put myself through with the tough situations, and I really think people need to go through tough situations to grow, you know, because if everything's easy for you, then you're not really gonna grow. But at the same time, I hated it, and I wanted like to help, just because like if there, I'm not, and then again, the money I raise, like it's not like I'm raising 100K or 200K. I'm raising like, you know, couple grand to like 6,000 or whatever I can get, so that I can give like $1,000 to as many minors as I can. So $1,000 is not a lot, to be honest, but
it means something to people. Like honestly, it means you freaking care too, which is awesome.
Right. It's gonna give them a little breathing room. You know, it's not $100. $100 is like, hey, like I can go to fucking dinner and blow that. But $1,000, hey, you can use that to help pay rent, which I have players do that and let me know, which is great. Or they pay, you know, like their insurance or whatever, like a bunch of like phone bills they got backed up, or school loans, they can help out a little bit, whatever it is. Like I'm fine with helping out on that, because I wanted that. And just because it was shitty for me when I was playing, I don't think it should be shitty for the next generation of professional baseball players. These guys were chosen to play baseball, not, and again, none of these guys play for money. I didn't play for money either, but I say this all the time. We don't play professional baseball to be fucking broke either. You know, like we weren't chosen in the draft to be fucking, you know, living, you know, in the mom's, you know, fucking, you know, room or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't deserve that. You know, professional baseball should be paid, and the business itself, MLB is, you know, like obviously not this year, but record revenues every fucking year, and they refuse to pay the minor leaguers. Why? There's no reason to.
Yeah, and there's really no other job where you're paid like absolute crap and then expected somewhere down the road to be potentially rich. It's almost like minor leagues are potentially winning the lottery, so everyone's got to suffer through it, which doesn't make any sense. Like you want these guys, like why not give them nutrition? Why not give them the weight rooms? Why not give them money so that they don't have to skimp on all that stuff? If you really want them to be great players, but right now it's like sink or swim. Here you go. Chucking you in the water.
And if you can survive, then you're done. And then again, like I'm not asking for these guys to make fucking 100,000, 200,000. We're saying minimum wage, man, which is 25, 30K. That's minimum wage, and that will solve a lot of these problems for these minor leaguers. And again, I really don't see any reason for them to not get paid minimum wage, because they don't deserve that. They're chosen in the draft. They're chosen to be the best in the business. To suffer, like fuck that, man.
So you come see, and this is what I like is people look at you and they're like, man, this guy's saying he seems to be a caveman type guy. He's just doing that. Yeah. And then a caveman with a big freaking heart though, right? I mean, not everybody does this shit.
Yeah, and again, I would just, baseball is a community, right? Like we say this all the time. We see that all the time. Like we're all part of this community that we're trying to grow. And like, you know, and for me, like, I'm not going to say I'm changing the game or anything like that, but I want to help out. I want to help all these minor leaguers. I want to help but by me raising some money of these minor leaguers, it brings awareness, right? So a lot of people realize, oh shit, you know, like these guys are getting paid like shit because I'm sharing my stories and their stories, and I'm making whatever I can make, you know, videos or whatever to kind of bring that up. I think it's good.
See, but I think you are changing the game. So I think you're changing the game in three ways, just off the top of my head. One is you're taking JUCO, which was a stepchild to everybody said, I want to go D1. Now right. JUCO guys have something to rally behind. It's like, you know what? I'm a freaking JUCO bandit. This is awesome. I mean, we're awesome. Both wearing the shirt now.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Two is the value of training and understanding like, hey, I'm going to put myself out there. This is hard work. There's no magic pill. I went from fat sim to rip sim, and this is the work I had to put in. And then also helping minor leaguers. So you say you're not changing the game, but that is changing the game. I mean, to me, that's going out there, putting yourself out there and having a bigger impact than one player just playing well, right? I mean, fans and it's one of these weird things, like it takes a whole community of people. And I think MLB missed it a little bit on like the Twitter, social media stuff. We 100%. All want the game to grow, and you're an important piece to it. There are a lot of other people that are important pieces to it. And to miss that boat, maybe they're getting it now, but to miss that boat, I think, is why the game wasn't growing.
Yeah, no, 100%. Again, thanks for the kind words. But yeah, again, MLB has definitely missed out. And then again, the guys like you and, like you guys are really like growing the game, really. And you guys, dude, I'm telling you, my wife doesn't know shit about baseball and she's heard about you. Like seriously, like Pitching Ninja, Pitching Ninja? She's like, I've heard that name. I'm like, what the fuck? And she doesn't know shit about baseball. That's how crazy this is, right? So when you're growing the game and getting more people involved in the sport, it's only gonna grow, and the game has to grow. The game has to evolve. It has been evolving, but it has to keep on evolving, right? So it can't just stay the same as the past or whatever the fuck way. Just like I'm speaking off for minor leaguers and stuff. Just because it was shitty, it's been shitty for 30, 40 years. That doesn't mean it should be shitty for the next 10 years. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason for that.
Totally agree. Totally agree. And actually, one of my things is, in order for the game to grow, you can't just have it be a rich kid sport. Like the idea of having 500, like this is the way I see it. And I see a lot of kids, they spend $500 on a glove, $500 a bat, a few $1,000s on a travel team, right. All the travel and all that stuff. Some parents sacrifice and they bet all their money on their kid. Some parents do it because they want their kid to have something they didn't have. Others just spoil their kids. And there are some kids then that are left out. Their parents can't do it. Their parents can't take a few weeks off.
Right.
And if baseball is a rich kid sport, you're going to lose a lot of fans who just don't want to watch a bunch of spoiled rich kids play baseball. I mean,
100%.
like you're growing up and you don't have anything to do with these guys. You're like, I want to go play another sport.
Right. And it shouldn't be like that. Baseball wasn't started because of that, for that reason. Baseball started with just literally kids playing the backyard or whatever. Right. So for me, that's why I'm trying to preach, going to JUCO. Going to JUCO is basically the cheapest way. You don't need a whole lot of money to do that. But you find ways to better yourself. Just like me training, you've seen me build like concrete gym and shit like that for, it's very, very cheap, because I got kicked out of my gym and all that shit, but so I mean, dude, if there's a will, there's a way. And those are some messages I'm trying to get across, because you don't need a whole lot to get better in baseball. People think, if I want to get better, I need to go to all these facilities or do all these regimen training programs or whatever. Yes, I mean, getting yourself in the right program definitely matters, 100%. But at the end of the day, your will matters more than anything. If you don't have the will to, like, I have the will. Like, I don't play anymore, but I still have the will to go fucking train in my backyard with my concrete gym, or go throw in this shitty fucking cage, or whatever I do. And the shit I do are pretty gritty and gruesome, like I'm not lifting, with nice dumbbells or whatever. I'm not throwing, in a nice facility, but I have the will. And with that will, I've made it happen, and I've seen results with it. So
see, and that's one of my favorite things too. And I didn't mention this, is the freaking concrete weights are just, it's a symbol of it. Like, it's a symbol of, you don't need this fancy. Yeah. I mean, you can build your own stuff and still be good. And that's what I'm talking about, is you don't need all, like, everybody just having all these fancy gyms, fancy weights, it drives people out of the sport. You're showing that it can be done on nothing if you have a will to do it. Now, where does that will come from? Like, why are you so driven to do that? Where is that in you?
Fuck. I mean, I think
it's my Barbara Walters moment where I'm like really delving into
everything I've done though. Like, I'll go all out. Like, I don't really like going like half-assed, even if it's just for having fun. So let's say if you and I go golfing. I've never golfed before. Let's say you and I go golfing and we hit, and you hit farther than me. I'm fucking pissed. I want to do better than you, and I want to be better than who I was last week, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 4 months ago, whatever. And I'm willing to put in the work, because for me, that work part's fun, because like, you're struggling. A lot of the times when people think, you're putting in work, you're motivated every day. No, the fuck I'm not, man. Most of the days I'm dragging ass, because that's how it works. Like, not every day I wake up with the let's get another day of greatness. No, man, every day I'm like, a lot of that times I wake up, I'm like, fuck, my body feels like shit or whatever. But I find the enough drive within myself, because I have whatever goals that I have, or I'm competing with myself, and I don't really like losing, so like I will compete. It doesn't matter what it is. I'll compete with with you. I'll compete with the radar gun. I'll compete with the weights, whatever the fuck I can find. I will try to compete. And I guess the drive comes from that, man. I like competing, and yeah, I really don't have any reason to do it. You know, there's no reason. No one tells me to do this. Like, no one here is like, oh, you need to go practice. No one tells me that, you know, but I have enough fire in me, man. And I just want to do it. I just want to do everything at the best I can. And also I want to push the boundaries. Why be average? You know, why be average and try to throw 85? Like, for me, like, throwing every 85, I can just go and throw 85. But why? Like, let's try for 95. You know, 95 is fucking insane, right? 95 is crazy number, even for like a professional. It's a pretty good number. So let's go for that. You know, like, if I just started golfing, like, long drive stuff, 400 yards, like a big mark for everybody. Let's go for it. Fuck, like, why not? You know, like, so I have a lot of these things I want to do, and for me, like, I'm willing to put in the work for it. So,
did your parents think you're like, do your relatives think you're crazy? I mean, this is so, like, there's so many people who wouldn't do this. There's so many people who move on to something else, and you're still like a psychopath when it comes to this stuff, which is awesome. But like, is everybody looking at you like you're freaking nuts? Like, what's your wife think?
Oh, she's cool with it. She's like, hey, just,
well, I know she's trying to throw
right.
65 now.
Yeah, no, yeah. So for sure,
if she hits 65, she's on this, man. We're gonna interview her too.
Dude, we're getting her going. Don't you worry. All right, but yeah. So she, like, dude, I mean, she knows me, and she knows what makes me happy, right? Like, for me, like, I was miserable because I think I told everybody too, like, when I got done playing ball, like, I didn't do shit for like 2.5, 3 years, man. Like, I wanted to get away from it. I don't want to touch a baseball, no weights. So I just got fat as shit, you know, working a regular job, you know, trying to make money and stuff like that. And I'm a bar manager, so it's completely different than what I've been doing all my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I had to learn a lot along the ways. Now that was consuming me a lot. So I wasn't really happy. I was making money, but I wasn't super happy. And then at some point, like a year and a half ago or whatever, I was like, dude, fuck, let's go throw a baseball one time. So I go through, and I threw 77. And as soon as I threw that,
it probably hurt like shit too.
Dude,
like,
I was hurting for like a long time. I was like fucking hurt. My elbow, I thought I needed a T-shape, man. It was fun. And I was max effort. I was throwing max effort at like 77. And I was so mad, man, I could barely sleep that night. I was like so mad and pain. I was like, fuck this. I'm getting after it. And then like a couple days later or whatever, I hit like 81. Ever since then, man, I've been going at it on my own, like whatever I can. You know, I'll go to a local park, man. I've been to a local, like a dog park before, and just fucking through. Man, I don't give a shit what I have. I don't care where it is. I'll go and fucking make it happen. I don't care if people look at me like crazy. Like I'm sorting like smelling salts and stuff in a local, like you know, softball park. You know, like I've had people walking by, they literally stop what they're doing, just like watching me. It's like, what is this guy doing? Like I have this, you know, like a radar gun, pocket radar set up and shit. They're like, what is this guy doing? This guy's nuts. And I'm sniffing smelling salts. I'm like yelling, yeah, and I'm like fucking throwing as hard as I can, like. But like, I don't care what other people think of me. I really don't give a shit, because for me, I do this for myself. And I've told people this too before. Like, I'm not doing this for anybody else, man. And of course, if I can help other people along the ways, great. If you're inspired by it, great. But you're not the reason I do it. I do it because I want to do it for myself. And that, to me, that's the biggest reason that people miss. Because at some point when you're playing, I've had this happen to me as well. You lose that. You start playing for other people, like you play for a coach, or play to make a better team, or play to get drafted, play to make the big leagues, or whatever the fuck your goal is. And that's great. But for me now, I'm the happiest I've been playing baseball because I play for myself, man. Fuck everybody else. I have no fucking reason to. I don't want to fucking play for anybody. Like, I'm playing for myself, and I'm telling you, I'm having a fucking blast, man. So,
I mean, it comes through. One thing, do you consider what you're doing? I know you're getting this stuff from MLB players are now, they're chiming in with their thoughts. Do you consider what you're doing pitching or throwing, and does it really matter? Like, doesn't matter. Should throwing itself be its own sport? Like, have a league where you're just throwing the crap out of the ball. Whoever hits 105 is awesome, and it doesn't matter where it goes. Like long drive competitions. I mean,
right.
That's such a thing.
Yeah, no, again, for me, like, I'm not trying to compete anywhere. So But I
So you're not a pitcher. Like you're not sitting there. Like you would go mano-a-mano against any hitter, and it doesn't freaking matter if they go yard off you. They can bat flip it. You don't give a crap because you're just trying to throw it by them, and you're not trying to pretend like you're this. You're not Greg Maddux.
No, I'm not. And that's the thing though. Like a lot of people think, oh, just because I throw hard now, and I don't think I think people think I'm just gonna walk everybody. That's not the case either. Because for me, like if I'm competing, like so right now I'm competing with a radar gun, right? If I'm competing with a radar gun, that's what I got going on. That's my competition right now. So whatever it takes, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna try to throw as hard as possible. Now, if I'm facing a hitter, you and I are competing. Fuck that! I'm gonna strike your ass out. That's my goal. That is my goal, right? So my goals change, right? So but within the training, that's the thing a lot of these old people don't get is the focus points change, right? So if I'm facing you as a hitter, man, I don't know what you think I am, but I ain't walking you. I'm fucking striking your ass out. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I have enough confidence in that. And people think I've never walked a lot of people. I never have, because I know how to compete, and I know how to I'm not that uncoordinated, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever. I don't have any issues. Like I've always been pretty good at this sport, for a reason. Like, so I'm not going to fucking walk everybody. I just don't do that. If I'm competing with you, I'll do whatever it takes to strike your ass out. But right now I'm training by myself in the prison with me and the radar gun. I'm going to try to throw as hard as possible. It's fucking whatever target I have. Now people think, oh, I'm just going to throw as hard as I can wherever. No, I set up a target everywhere I go. Even if I'm throwing 15 feet away from the net, I set up one target and I'm fucking trying to hit that as hard as I can every single time. And that's where the training part comes in with all these, pitching, right? And I don't think there's any, people say it all the time, you're a thrower, not a pitcher or whatever. Dude, if you're pitching, you're throwing a baseball. That's why you're pitching, but now pitching part obviously is the competition parts coming in, right? With the hitter. But yeah, man, again, to be honest, I have a lot of haters along with a lot of people that love me. And so at the end of the day, like I've literally just said this, I don't do this for other people. So whatever they fucking think of me, I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care. Like, because I'm doing this for me, and this makes me happy, and I'm happy what I'm doing so far with whatever platform I have. So if you don't like it, fuck you. Fuck.
So what are you? So you started you were a catcher, and you're talking about catching versus pitching. Now you're known for throwing the crap out of the ball. Why didn't you choose to just try to hit the ball as far? Like, why? I know pitching is way cooler. Like, there's no doubt. Everybody knows that. It's just,
of course, you fucking have to.
Yeah, exactly. So why did you choose to take that part of your career back? How did you make that switch from position player to pitcher? Why did you do it? And kind of tell me about like the mentality difference. Like, which do you like better?
Yeah. Awesome questions. For me, like, I only changed it because I had to. I was a catcher all my life. I've literally, when I started playing ball at 8 till when I was 24, that's when I turned to pitching. I've been a catcher literally every single year. I never played even first base. I barely played. I don't think I literally played no other position than catcher because I was like a bigger kid. I was a fat kid, but they're like, hey, fat kid, go catch. I'm like, all right, cool. And I liked it because I liked the, wearing the gear, and you got a different glove than everybody. Like, I enjoyed that when I was a kid, and I was good at it. I was pretty good at it. So everything, they're like, well, you're going to keep catching. I came to Canada. They're like, what position you play? Well, I was catcher, like in this broken English. They're like, oh, catcher. Okay, nice. So I caught all my life too. And then went to Pro Bowl, got drafted as a catcher, and I caught for 4 years or 5 years. And then I was like, fuck, I was in low A, man. I was like 24. I was pretty old and you're in low A. I'm backing up. I'm not even a starter. So my pitching coach one time, Steve Kleins, he pitched in the big leagues for the Cardinals. He's like, hey, like, have you tried pitching? Because I've always had a good arm. I threw a lot of guys out. And he's like, no, man. Or I'm just like, nah, like, I'm not gonna do that shit. I'd rather quit baseball than pitch. I literally said that to him. And he's like, okay, whatever. And then like next week or whatever, he's like, hey, grab a ball and throw. I'm like, I told you I'm not throwing. He's like, you're throwing. I was like, okay. All right. So I went to go throw a bullpen for him, and I'm fucking hungover as shit, dude. I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I've never pitched in my life. So I was like, whatever. I threw a bullpen for him. I threw like maybe 10, 15 pitches. He's like, okay, you're pitching in 2 or 3 days or whatever the fuck he said. I was pitching against Charleston, which is a low A team for the Yankees. And I'm facing their lineup, which is full of fucking, like $1 million babies, signing bonus babies. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then so I went to go pitch against Charleston, and I hit 92. And then they're like, well, you're gonna come back as a pitcher and for instructs after the season. And I did that. I was like, fuck, I was terrible because I've never pitched before, and like nothing. I've never done anything like that. So I was like, all right, well, I'll try that. And then instructs, I was like 88, 89, fucking getting up to like 91, 92. And I knew that wasn't gonna work because I've caught that before. And then I knew that shit wasn't gonna work. That shit does not work as a right-handed reliever. If you're a right-handed reliever, I'm 24 at the time, turning 25, man, that shit ain't gonna play. So I was like, dude, like I gotta get that shit up to like 96, 97. I knew that right away because I've caught professional pitchers for 65 years or 4 or 5 years. I know what works, what doesn't work. Whatever I was doing was not gonna work. So I was like, all right. And then that's when I got hooked up with Driveline. My buddy hooked me up with Kyle, and then I went to go see him, and I was sold right away. And I did their program, and I did everything, whatever they had got going on for me. And then I ended up next year hitting like 96. And then the year after that, I hit 97 in indie ball or whatever. But yeah, no, again, the path has been pretty crazy. I never really did it out of my will, pitching. It was more of like a forced thing to do because, hey, if you don't do this, you're fucking released. I was like, all right, fuck. I should probably do that now, So, and yeah, it's just, and for me, I thought it was kind of be easier too. Because, when people say, oh, a lot of people told me this, even professional coaches have told me in pro ball, said, hey, you're a catcher all your life. Like I was a pretty good game caller. I know how to call a game. I know how to attack hitters. I know how to read swings. Like as a catcher, I can read swings. Like when you're in that zone, you can kind of do that kind of stuff. And I was like, oh yeah, sure. That's great. And when you're on that mound, man, it's different. It's a different ball game. I thought it was going to be like, and dude, pitching, completely different mindset. It's just like you have this like one thing that you want to do and you got to do it, so that's why, a lot of catchers think pitchers are dumbasses. I thought the same way. I'm like, dude, you're a fucking dumbass. I'm like, don't shake me off and all that. And I'm up there doing the same shit. I was like, what the fuck's going on? But yeah, man, shit was crazy. And crazy experience for me. And now going back to I think you asked me this question.
I don't remember what I asked you. Oh,
yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Why I'm pitching now instead of like hitting and stuff like that, which I am still hitting. I'm still trying to have fun, and I'm still trying to do whatever I think to get better or whatever. But pitching for me is still new. Something that I've never done before, and that still gives me a lot of fire to do so. So that makes sense. Like hitting, like of course, like I want to hit the ball like far as I can or whatever. I love that because there's not one part of baseball I don't like. I even like fucking throwing from the outfield, grab it, fucking gunning dudes out. I love that kind of shit. I love everything about baseball except base running. I don't give a shit about that, or bunting. Fuck bunting. But yeah, it's just like for me, like it's still new to me, somewhat new to me pitching because I've only pitched for a year and a half before I got released. So I've only done that, and I did none of that after I quit or whatever. And now it's still kind of something new I'm learning, and I enjoy it, man. I enjoy competing because pitching again is a different animal. You're competing by yourself against fucking everyone else. That's why I feel when I'm on the mound, dude. Like, of course, you say, oh yeah, your teammates are there or whatever. Fuck that shit. It's me versus you, hitter. I'm gonna strike your bitch ass out. That's how I think. That's how I compete. So there's a reason, like guys like Max Scherzer. He's not gonna be like, oh, I got 9 guys being fuck that, fuck you. I'm gonna motherfuck you. I'm gonna strike your ass out. That's how I like it. That's how I compete, right? So, and I really like that part of the game because you don't really get to do that when you're catching. When you're catching, you don't have a whole lot of control, right? Pitching, you have full control of everything. It's you versus hitter, whether you get hit or he strikes out. So I really like the part of the game, which is why I continue doing. And throwing is fun, man. Throwing anything is fun. I've thrown a lot of shit. I'm sure you've seen my videos.
I've definitely seen your videos.
Yes, I do. I enjoy throwing anything and everything. Whatever you give me, I'll throw it because no one does it because they're so scared of this, weighted balls or whatever. But for me, man, I'm not scared. I'll go throw fucking anything. And to be honest, I have a lot of fun doing them. Recently, I did the snowball throws. Dude, I had a fucking blast. Dude, by myself, man.
What did you top out? It was like 85 or something. I
got up to 83. I got up to 83, which was pretty fucking tight. Like I was pretty happy with that. I think I could get dude, to be honest, I think I can get higher, but I need to be in like a better setting. Maybe on like a real mound and like fucking, like some really good snowballs or what. Anyway, like I just like doing this kind of shit because like it's fun.
What did people think when they're walking by when you're throwing like pineapples and shit? Like what was like?
I've had it happen. I was throwing pineapples. So that day I was doing like the fruit and veggie throws or whatever. I had like 20 different fruits and veggies that I was throwing. And I remember I was about to throw like a cantaloupe. And then this fucking lady with a dog walking by is like, what are you doing? I'm just like, I have no idea what I'm doing, but you should keep walking. I'm gonna throw this as hard as I can. So that actually happened to me. A true story. And then I just do it. I just do it, man. And I like doing things that are a little bit on the psycho way, like a little different, I'm on my own universe or whatever.
I've kind of noticed that. Yeah.
Yeah. But I like that, man, because I kind of want to see how, because a lot of people say, to me, they're scared. They're scared to do, you can't do this or you can't do that. And I see so many of that, they're like, oh, bench press is terrible for you. Well, I'm fucking benching 350, man. Like it can't be that bad because I'm throwing 95, benching 350, and I'm still out of shape. Like, what are you trying to get at, right? So I'm trying to kind of defy those, old logics or old thoughts they have in the past. And I'm trying to, change that a little bit and change that perspective on things.
Is that why you hit it off with Driveline to begin with? Because I know Kyle and I go way back, way back. I think we started talk back in 2012, 2013, something like that. Mm-hmm. And I always saw that about him is like, he didn't care what was always done. He just said, I want to find it out myself, and I'm not going to take whatever everybody did as gospel. I'm going to figure it out. It 100%. Seems like you're a lot like that too. Like you want to just figure it out yourself, and you don't trust the fact that you're not going to do it because everybody's always done it. You're going to go and find it out for yourself. Is that kind of because they have that attitude, right?
They do. Yep, they do. And I actually learned a lot of that from them. A lot of the stuff that I learned that too as I was training there, and then you're 100% right. Kyle's basically an outcast, he's not going to think like everyone else, and he's not going to think like every other coaches, but he has a really, really good reason when he's doing stuff. And I really like that about him, because you're right. We're pretty similar, I think, because I'm an outcast too. No one's doing what I'm doing really. Like I'm doing things different, and I went through different paths to get to where I am, and so I think for me, like I learned a lot from, training there, of different mindsets, but we're not just doing it to be different. That's a thing. Like we're not doing it to be different because we believe what we're doing. So he believes whatever he's doing is better. And I completely agree with that because I've done his stuff. Like that's shit. Like for me, I feel the same way. I don't want to be like everyone else, and not just because I don't want to be like everyone else, but because I have a good reason to do it. So.
Yeah, what I've always liked about him too is if he's wrong, he'll admit, like he'll try different 100%. Things. And some things like, yeah, this sucks. I'm not going to do it anymore. But if you don't ever try it, you're not going to know whether it sucks or not.
100%. Even when I was training, man, I was training there 2014. That was my first year training there. Even when I was doing in 2014 at Driveline to what they're doing now in 2020, that's very different. Some things are similar, but it's very different, man. Like, and that's how they've evolved within themselves of this Driveline. They've evolved themselves by doing more research, by studying more, by finding out more, like whatever they could find, and that's the beauty of the Driveline. That's why I'm a big fan of them, because they know they don't have an answer, but they're willing to do whatever it takes to find an answer or anything close to it. And that's why I'm a big fan of them. And I still speak from them highly because I've tried that myself and it worked for me. So
you're still doing it. Like they helped you get back to where you are, and gave you a whole plan, right? I mean, didn't you work with them to? That's
right. Yeah. So
what did that entail? Like, what did they do for you? What did they do?
I was originally doing just my own training, because I've done whatever I was doing with Driveline, and I still have a lot of their stuff, right? So like plyo balls or whatever. So I just started doing everything that I was doing prior to calling it quits, and I just was doing that, but I wasn't really planned out to throw. For me, it was more like, hey, I'm just gonna go throw maybe once a week or twice a week or whatever, and I'll bring a beer or a couple beers, and I'll go enjoy my brews, man. I'll go throw, and that was like my joy for me then, right? But now it's a little more serious. When I started Project 95 or Die, it's more like, hey, like let's actually do this shit serious. I quit drinking, I quit smoking, I quit doing anything, and so let's do this. I dropped 35 pounds, and let's actually do this serious. So, and for me, that's the kind of guy I am. I told you, like, I'm gonna go all out. Like, so if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna go all out, because there's no point of going fucking half-ass. There's no point, right? So I did that, and so they got me on a program. They hooked me up with my boy Dean Jackson. He's a throwing trainer for Driveline, and then he's writing all my programs, and we communicate often, so that, hey, like, if he's like, hey, like, how you feeling, like, how you recovering, I'm like, hey, like, if I could use another day or whatever, and he'll kind of program that in so that it caters to me, right? So I've done that, and I've seen a huge success with it. And lifting wise, it's changed too. Before, I'll literally lift every single day. I went to the gym every single day when I was fatter or whatever. I'll go to the gym every day, max out and everything. I was like, so I'll go squat, maxed out. Next day, bench, maxed out. Next day, deadlift, maxed out. Just dumb, you know, my body wasn't recovering. But I just like lifting heavy shit. I'm like, fuck it. Like, I'm not really doing anything. So I'm just lifting heavy shit. And even when I was doing that, man, I was throwing like 90 or 84, 85, you know? So Dean's like, hey, like that's all good, but like, if you're going to throw, we're going to recover. And so right now, all we need to do is, like, we need to recover. We need to get you to recover better so that you can perform at the baseball field. And all he did was change a few things around. Instead of lifting every day, like, I'm not lifting as much. I'm focusing more on throwing. And I throw every single day now instead of throwing once a week or twice a week. And that's really helped. And that's why I preach on, if you don't get better at throwing, throw. If you don't get better at squatting, you got to squat. You know, if you don't get better at benching, you got to bench. That's what it is, right? So you need to spend more time on the things you want to get better at. And that's all the success that came in. So, you know, I've seen a lot of progress with that. And they got me on the track and all that stuff they got going on. So that's very easy for me to access all the information I need to. And it's been great, man.
That's awesome, because I mean, I'm very familiar with their stuff and a big fan, so it's good to see. I mean, it's kind of amazing, the transformation, because I've watched it closely with you. Right. I remember when somebody on Twitter said, "Oh, you're just a fat piece of shit," and and now you look at you and you're like, that does not look like a fat piece of shit.
Yeah, so that's funny though, because in the beginning they're like, "Oh, you're a fat piece of shit. You're not gonna do it or whatever." And now I did it. I got jacked. They're like, "Oh, you're on roids." I'm like, I've literally shown everything that I've been doing. Like, can I not make any of you happy? Like, fuck. So at some point of the day, I'm like, dude, you know what? You haters gonna hate. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, you can do whatever the fuck you want. Like, I'm gonna do me. And I literally share everything that I do for that reason. So that I want to show you the whole journey, instead of just, oh, I hit PR. That's what a lot of people do. I see. They're like, oh, I hit this day, and then fucking they don't have anything for like 3 months. They're like, oh, I hit this day. Well, you're not really showing the journey in between, because to get from here to here, you're not going like this. You're going like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
So,
and it gives a false story. Yeah, that gives a false story, because I think people assume it's easy then if you're going like that. And 100%. I remember, like, years ago, Kyle posted this chart of how development goes, and it goes up and down. You have, you know, just when you think you're doing great, it sucks. Yeah. And you're like, you know, you're taking a 4 mile an hour dip, and you're like, oh crap, I'm never going to get there. And then all of a sudden it shoots up, but it's not linear. It just doesn't go straight up.
No, and I've shared my fucking progress too. Dude, I went from 90, or in the beginning I was like 90 at the Project 95 or Die. I got up to I was 88, and I got to 94 in like 29 days. I think I've done all the journey or whatever. 29 days, and basically a month I went from like 82 to 94. Everyone's like, oh, you know, you're gonna hit 95. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna try, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't work like that. And then boom, I hit the dip. I was stuck from basically, dude, 89 till 89, 91 for fucking 5 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks. Man, that shit was tough, you know, like, and I've shown that. I've shared that, because I'm not afraid to share like the days I take L's, because that's what training is all about. You take a bunch of fucking L's and you finally move on, and it feels great. You know, you got this day, but the next day you go back to taking L's again. You know, a lot of people don't get that, right? So that's something I want to share.
Yeah, they don't get that, because I know it from experience. People get discouraged and they quit. And that's why not everyone can be good. That's why not everyone can throw 95. So your new are you really trying, is it 100 or die? And are you going to beat Wes Burton? Are you going to beat Wes Burton to 100?
Yeah, so I mean, we're both trying for it. Now, for me, I still gotta finish 95 or Die, which haven't finished yet, because our original goal, when I talked to Mike Rathwell, who's the CEO of Driveline, he called me in the beginning to start this. He's like, hey, let's actually get you on a program. Let's take this serious. what number do you want? I'm like, well, I think 95 will be fucking cool. You know, like 95 throwing, anybody throwing 95 is cool, right? So I'm like, let's go 95, which was at the time I got it. Wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get it. I had no doubt. You know, I knew I was going to get it at some point, but I didn't know how long it was going to take and stuff like that, right? So I was like, let's go for 95, do whatever we can to get there. But our original goal was to not hit 95 twice, and it's got to be a strike to a target. And I kind of want to do that at Driveline because they give me the opportunity, right? So I want to do that at Driveline, hit 95 twice to a target. And he said he's gonna cut me a check for $5,000 to help out minor leaguers on my name. So I was like, deal, let's do it. You know, it's for a good cause, right? Like I want to help minor leaguers, and they like what I'm doing too. So yeah, my goal is right now to do that sometime next year when things kind of slow down a little bit, or with COVID shit or whatever. And then after that, man, I'm going for 100, and I have a lot of cool things planned for next year. I want to break some fucking world record, like Guinness Book of World Records throws.
I saw your list.
Yeah, so I want to do some fun. I want to have fun, and for me, I don't throw. The day I stop throwing is when I'm not having fun. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying like every day for me is. I told you every day for me is mostly taking L's and struggling. But I enjoy that. You know, I still enjoy that part. But the day I feel like throwing is like going to work. You know, the day I feel that, I'm not gonna do it anymore because I'm not doing that. I really am not doing this for that. So that's why, again, I'm really against. I don't care how hard I throw. You know, people ask me all the time, if you throw 100, would you sign and they offer you a minor league contract, would you sign? I'm like, no, because I want to hit 105. You know, like if I hit 100, I want to hit 105. Like, and I don't want to make that work because for me, this part of the what I'm doing now is for me. You know, it's like this is something I really enjoy doing for myself. So I'll continue doing that. So
are you still managing the bar?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm managing it, and I'm done. We're leaving. My wife and I got a place. She's from Arizona, and I'm actually moving down to Arizona on January 4th. So leaving pretty soon. And I'll
so that's why no prison baseball. Is that?
Yeah, that's why it's the last one. My next velo day, which is on Thursday, that's gonna be my last velo day in prison. So that's why I was gonna do some fun shit. I got tagged you on there. I appreciate you fucking retweeting. All these fucking jabronis are commenting all these pitches and shit. I was like, fuck. And anyways, I got some pictures like Devin Williams, like the airbender that looks fucking sick. So
yeah, that's gonna be awesome.
Dude, it's gonna be sick. And plus, like because I throw harder now, like I feel like pitches will move more no matter what because I'm throwing harder now. So I'm really excited to see the movement on those things, right? So it'll be pretty cool. I'm gonna have fun with it too. So
I was wondering if anybody comes in the bar and goes, wait, you're the king of JUCO. You're Eric Sim. I mean, I'm sure people do that, right?
I've had some kids done that. Like apparently some kids
I'd go to the bar just to do that. Come on.
Yeah, I've had some kids come up here like, oh, dude, you're the Twitter guy. I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, I am. So
you need a pitching ninja drink at the bar. I'm just saying. I mean,
100%. Hey, man, whenever we meet up, I'm fixing us a drink, and we're fucking calling out the pitching ninja drink, and we're fucking getting hammered. All right?
Let's fucking go. That's awesome.
Go.
So quick question. Who is your favorite? We've been back and forth on this on Twitter. I know you love Max Scherzer. I do too. But like Zach Greinke's also freaking awesome. Who's your favorite? Like, who do you like? You are probably more like Scherzer personally. I can see you being that type of personality. Who's your favorite people to watch pitch?
I don't have like one favorite player like to watch or whatever. I have a few, like right now, like Darvish, whatever he's doing, like he's awesome. Dude, I love that dude, man. Like he's nasty. Like he throws gas. Like you see his two seams like 98 and shit. Like, poof. I was like, fuck. And he's got that fucking cutter at 93. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? He's got that slider at like 82. It's like nasty. It's like, fuck, this dude's dirty. And he's talking shit on Twitter. I was like, yes, it's awesome. And I like that because I like people showing they're more than a player. You know what I'm saying? They're engaging, they're it's pretty boring to watch some, to me, I guess it's a little bit boring. MLB players, Twitter page. Obviously, they're very limited because they can't really say a lot of the shit we can say or whatever. But they're like, oh, it's very boring. There's like, oh, just doing the same shit like everyone else is doing. And there's fucking Darvish. Like, what the fuck? You see this recent one too. Right? I saw the one you retweeted. I was like, fuck. He's like, what the fuck? I didn't get a call. I was like, what? I'm like, that's fucking awesome. Really, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, he's fantastic. Like he's one of my favorite guys to watch pitch, but also his Twitter game is about as good as anybody's. He's like low key hilarious.
Yeah, because then he's got that. I think he's got that like Japanese humor too, and I really like that. It's like very like subtle, but it's like fucking hits you. I was like, oh damn, I like that.
Yeah,
But
oh,
yeah,
like
I have a couple favorites, man. Like Max Scherzer again, huge fan because I just love the way he competes. Like it's like no others, man. And he's 36, man. 30. He's turning 37 next year. He's throwing 97. He's 36, throwing 97. Motherfucking everyone. How awesome is that? You know, that's and no, I've met anybody that doesn't like Max Scherzer. Everybody loves how he competes, right? Because he just gets in his zone. He'll motherfuck everybody. He's yelling, screaming, and he's like grunting, like it's insane. And I really like that about him. And I like people that don't give a fuck. I like psychos, like you know, fucking. I like Joe Kelly. Fucking doesn't give a fuck. Dude, big fan because he doesn't give a fuck about anybody. And he's just like a scrawny guy, you know.
And he'll fight everybody. I have a feeling Yeah, I mean, he's probably gonna do some damage if he's.
I think I did a tweet or whatever a while ago before I got suspended or whatever, and I think I did like 3 people I wouldn't fight or whatever. Like it was Joe Kelly, Max Scherzer, and fucking Zach Greinke. Because Zach Greinke, I can see him just going fucking psycho. Even if I beat him up, right? Even if I beat him up. I can see him showing up the next day with a baseball bat on my fucking doorway, ready to fucking fight me. Because I can see him doing that. He's a psycho.
Oh, absolutely. You know? Yeah, he'll stalk you and hunt you down.
100%. Yeah. So
see, now Scherzer will never quit. Scherzer, you can be beat. Like I can totally see that. No matter what,
dude, he can have one leg and he'll still fucking fight you, man. He'll throw that kick. He doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, exactly. So, why did you get the suspension thing? Why did that? Like, I totally missed. I don't know if you even know why. I've gotten suspended before, so we're like twins in that. We're wearing the same shirt. We're twins on suspension. So, what happened? Like, I didn't get it. Was it the Manfred thing? The bunting?
Yeah.
Thing,
So I think a couple of them. Yeah. So I got suspended twice already. Hopefully I don't get suspended again. But usually I think when I get to about 20,000 followers mark, that's when
you say something stupid. Yeah.
That's about the time I say something dumb and I get suspended. But yeah, first one was when Joe Madden was going to the Angels, and then someone said, oh, you know, because Joe Madden loves like small ball and shit like that. He's like, oh, Mike Trout better get ready to bunt or whatever. And I quote tweeted and say, if you make Mike Trout bunt, I'll fucking kill you, is what I said. Like, I'm not literally going to kill you, but I just said it as like, you know, I'm going to kill you, you know. But then as soon as I did that, I got suspended. I was like, oh, fuck. I try to like, you know, when you get suspended, you try to like appeal it or whatever.
Yeah, and they never get back to you.
They don't listen to any of that shit. I'm like, whatever. I made a different account, and then I got it up to like 21,000 followers again. And then Manfred was doing dumb shit to me as per usual. And then I said, fuck you. And then I at MLB, you know, and then I didn't think
like that's not even that bad. You're not the only one to ever say that.
I've seen people fuck you MLB all the time. So that's why I did it. I'm like, oh, fuck you. But I at MLB, and then like fucking 2 days later, I was like, fuck. Now it's funny though. Because when I log in, sometimes when I don't have internet, you know, like it goes like you can't refresh or whatever, and that happens when you get suspended. So every time that happens to me, like if I have no internet, I feel like, oh shit, did I get suspended again? What did I do this time? Shit, you know. But
yeah, you're always kind of treading that line, which is why it's so much fun to watch. You never know like when you're going to wake up and be suspended. Mine was I woke up in the middle of the night and everyone's texting me like, dude, what happened to your account? And I'm like, holy shit. And mine went on for like a week.
Bullshit though, because you're just using the videos or something, right?
Yeah, and they were cool with it. Like we ended up working. They actually were really cool with it. They called me up and were like, hey, we actually like what you do. We think you're helping expand the game. And it was all cool. But at the time I was like, you know what? If they don't if they don't let me tweet again, then I got more hours back in my day. Cause this shit, I mean, you and I both, the amount of time you're tweeting and stuff. I mean,
but for me, like I just say dumb shit, like what it's in my head. For you actually have to make the gifs and all that shit, right? So like I feel, dude, man, you're crushing hours there for sure.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's like a whole full-time job doing that. But I mean, it's fun though. Like I have fun. I love the reactions of shit. I love meeting people like you on this too. I love that,
man. That dude, man, I'm not gonna like. Let's be real. Like I love what you're doing because for me, like, when you have the passion for it, it's easy to see that. You know, you have the passion for it, and it's easy to see that. I have the passion for what I'm doing. It's easy to see that. And I like people that have passion for whatever part of the game. Not everyone has to go do what I'm doing. You know, like you're doing what's passionate for you, and that fucking fires me up, whatever way it is. And I sometimes get messages from like, you know, or parents or whatever doing complete something else, but they're like, oh, fired up. That fires me up, you know, like, so having the passion is very important. And I think that's a lot of part kids these days are kind of missing out on, like the having that passion for the game and having, you know, whatever you like, you gotta enjoy it, just not just because you have to do it. You gotta fucking enjoy doing that shit.
Well, I think that's the biggest takeaway that people should get from this is, you know what, if you're not enjoying it, find something else. Like do something, you're gonna, because you're in the end, you're gonna get beat out by people that are working hard, that are owning their day, and that are doing everything to as hard as they freaking can. Like they have to compete with people like you who aren't even in the game. Like you're throwing 95, you're not even trying to get back in the game. Just think about the people who are starving, working every day, put it in the effort, and you're doing it with a silver spoon. You ain't going to get there unless you're like a ridiculous freak athlete. I mean, they, you know, there are those people too, but most of them are, you know, you have to be like you. I love that. I love, that's why that I think is what attracts people to your account is showing that like it's how hard you work and the passion that you put into it. And hopefully it's contagious. I think it is.
Yeah, no, to be honest, man, I get a lot of DMs. I can't check all of them. I'm sure you're the same way too. You probably get more than me, but yeah, fucking, I
turned off my DMs. I don't let, unless you follow me, I don't like.
I might have to do that pretty soon too, actually. But yeah, I try to answer if I can. But dude, I get 99% of it is usually kids or even parents. I've had some people, man, that has nothing to do with baseball. They've never played baseball, and they're like, "Hey, like I'm can I order a pocket radar?" I'm like, and I give him my code, and it's so that I can help out minor leaguers. He's like, I'm 50, I've never played baseball. I want to go throw, and I want to see where I'm at. I want to get better at it. I'm like, dude, I saw that. I'm like, dude, that's fucking awesome. You know, like that fired me up for like a month, man. That shit, like, it was like, fuck, it was really cool to see that. And again, a lot of messages I get is a lot of people are inspired by what I'm doing, just putting in the work and doing whatever it takes and whatever way you can find, making it work, you know? So that's cool. You know, you having your platform, like, it's probably unbelievable experience as well, you know, and you probably don't regret anything you've been doing. And same way with me, like, I don't regret anything that I'm doing. Can I fight with less people on social media? Of course, but I mean, I'm also not gonna take no shit though. That's a reason I do social media, so that I can speak my mind. I can, you know, if I don't, you know, fuck you. You know, like, if you don't like me, at the end of the day, fuck you. So
you know what's ridiculous? So I got my own baseball card this year, which was fucking ridiculous.
That's
and I have people, I get fan mail. Like, there are people I'm getting constantly people like, hey, can you order? I'm like, holy crap! Like, I'm just like, to me, like, I'm just a dude with a computer.
You know, big leaguers fanboy over your shit. You know that, right?
Yeah,
like,
that's
yeah, I want to be a pitching ninja. I was like, this is fucking awesome.
I mean, that part is, it's never going to get old for me, and I know it's not for you. Like, you're getting into Twitter wars with Mike Cameron, who's sitting there like, and Mike we played against his son, cool, Daz.
Man, to be honest.
Yeah, he's a great dude.
He's the only one I kind of liked of all that fucking shitty group they got going on or whatever. But my camera actually like talked to me or whatever. I don't think he wants to face me, obviously, in live AB, because I'm like, hey, like,
he's a big freaking dude, man, and his I mean, his kid's obviously really good. We played him in high school ball.
Oh, really?
And,
awesome. No, my camera's a fucking stud. Like, and I respect them. I respect them of what they did and whatever they did, right? But I'm also not gonna back down. If you're like, hey, I can hit that shit, let's fucking go. You know, like,
who cares? Like, dude, what are you gonna do? You're gonna cry because he went yard off you?
If Barry Bonds came to me like, hey, I'm gonna face you, I'm like, yeah, let's fucking go, fuck. And I'm gonna fucking smelling salt and everything. I'm fuck you, you know, like, and obviously, like, I think Barry Bonds is the best player ever. Like, I think he's a hero or whatever. But like, I'm still gonna fucking try to strike your ass out, because if I'm competing, that's how I feel, you know, and that's what you should be when you're competing on the baseball diamond, right, or anything for that matter. You should be doing to kill each other, not in a bad way, but like, just try to dominate each other. That's how good games are made. Good competitions are made, by trying to do the best you can to destroy each other. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, that's like my Twitter. I smelling salt it before I get ready. No, I don't do that. That'd be cool. I should try that one time. Yeah, exactly.
Dude, hey, next time we see each other, I'm gonna get you some smelling salts. We're gonna drink some booze, and fucking, you're pulling down with me. That's what you're doing.
Oh my God, my arm will fall off. I mean, I tried to do that the other day, and it's brutal. But I'm gonna get my wife to compete with your wife on this thing. She's a crafty lefty. I mean, she's
really
like absolutely. That. She's gonna listen to this, and she's gonna kick my ass. But
yeah, mine too. She's right there. She's not gonna like that.
Exactly. Well, dude, man, this was awesome. Great catching up with you. Hopefully everybody has as much fun listening to it as we had fun doing it. And we will do this again because this is freaking
for
great.
Sure. Yeah, no, anytime, man. Like I had a ton of fun. I feel like we could talk for hours, you know. But,
absolutely.
Yeah, but yeah, again, thanks for having me. You're fucking awesome, and keep doing you. So
likewise, man.
Strike three, you're out!